Hi, and welcome to Read to Me, Mrs. Avignon. I am still reading this wonderful book called My Librarian is a Camel, How Books Are Brought to Children Around the World. Today we're going to be reading about a country called Mongolia. I'm going to show you where that is on our big map. Okay, so here we have the world, and then we have the continent of Asia, and this big purple country is Russia. Look here, does everybody see the green country? That is Mongolia. And below Mongolia is China. So Mongolia is smushed in between China and Russia. Okay, get to Mongolia. Okay, and here is Mongolia. And I'm seeing that inset map where Mongolia is in the green, and to the south or below Mongolia is China in yellow, and then to the north of Mongolia is Russia, and that is in purple. And if you see the national Mongolian flag, okay, I'll read a little bit about Mongolia before we start reading about how they get their books. It says Mongolia, the capital is Ulaanbaatar. The estimated population, how many people live there, is about 2,300,000. Mongolia is a vast country in Northeast Asia, more than 1.5 million square kilometers in size. With fewer than 2.5 million people living in it, there are lots of empty space throughout the land. The official language is Kalaha Mongol. To preserve traditional culture and traditions, children are being taught the old Cyrillic Mongolian script, which is written vertically from top to bottom. So they don't write left to right, they write from top to bottom. Interesting. The country has high mountain ranges as well as vast desert plains, with the Gobi Desert in the southeast. Snow leopards, wild horses, and ibex still roam the Gobi Desert. Most of the roads that run through Mongolia are unpaved and rough. The climate is one of extremes, cold in winter, hot and very dry in summer. Even 5,000 years ago, nomadic people lived in the area we now call Mongolia. The country has been in existence since the 13th century when Genghis Khan conquered a huge part of Europe and Asia. The boundaries have often changed under the rule of China and Russia. Since 1924, the Mongolian People's Republic has been an independent country with its own constitution. Okay, so Mongolia. For centuries, people in Mongolia have led a nomadic lifestyle. That means they are moving across the steppe, a vast grass-covered plain, with their herds. Many people are still herders of livestock, moving with their herds as they graze. The life of the nomads has not changed very much since the old days, except that nowadays the herders like to use iron horses, meaning motorbikes, instead of real horses. Very few people have telephones, television, or access to computers, but most people can read. There is almost no illiteracy in this country. Illiteracy is when you cannot read. Jambin Dashtongdog is a well-known writer of children's books in Mongolia. He was looking for a way to bring books to the many children of herders' families who live scattered across the Gobi Desert. A horse-drawn wagon, as well as a camel, is used to carry books into the desert. Together with the Mongolian Children's Cultural Foundation, Mr. Dashtongdog was able to obtain a minibus and 10,000 books, mostly donated by Japan. The Japanese books are being translated into Mongolian, and Mr. Dashtongdog makes trips with the minibus to bring the books to children in the countryside. The book tour is called Amate Nam, which means candy books. Why? Because before they share the books, the children are given food, including some sweets. After the children listen to stories and choose books, Mr. Dashtongdog asks, which is sweeter, books or candies? And the children always answer, books! I just returned from a trip to visit herders herder's children in the Great Gobi Desert, said Mr. Dashdom, who has visited nearly 10,000 children in the past 2 years. We covered some 1,500 kilometers in 2 weeks, and this was in winter, so it was cold and snowy. We had no winter fuel for our bus, so we had to use summer fuel, and the fuel froze at night, making the bus stall. But we weren't cold. The stories and their heroes kept us warm. Okay, and so here we have children with books. And this says Mongolian readers reading a book right in their library. And look, here's the wagon where he carries the books. The wagon's pulled by a camel. Pretty amazing. And here's a little girl reading a book. Okay, so Mongolia, even though they have a lot of land that is not inhabited and they're very spread out in the desert, the books are brought to them. And the books are compared to candy. And the books are sweeter than candy. I totally agree, except for chocolate. Okay, stay tuned. We will be reading about Pakistan in the next section of this book. Bye.